Just have to let Draco Sack go by first. Hey guys, Manny the Dragon Tamer team, Manny the Dragon Tamer Team Forbidden, and the Prince of all Shuchinokos here. And tell me in the comments below if you like the name change of Abyss into Gwigagago Dog Dimmadome on the Dimsdale Dimmadome. Yes, that Dog Dimmadome on the Dimsdale Dimmadome. As you can see, Konami just had to really Ogdoadic dick down this TCG archetype's name. And before I start the video, I'm just going to do a little vent here, because when playing around with this deck, it does give me the feel of playing Rockets or Dragon Maid sometimes. So considering all the decks that came out prior online from like Exordio or Dual Evolution, like, don't get me wrong, they're great channels, and it's good to see beforehand how decks work, so that way we get the idea of how, you know, we can play around with them, make deck builds and all that. But sometimes some deck ideas that shouldn't happen do end up happening, so I would not be surprised if Abyss / Oigadaga Dug Dimmadome over the Dimsdale Dimmadome, yes, that Dug Dimmadome over the Dimsdale Dimmadome, or Oigadaga Gwigagaga. Exactly how the hell do you say this name? No, like there's like 5 different pronunciations. It's like it's like trying to say the monster's name in Monster Hunter. So Ogdoadic. How do you think you say it?
Ogdoadic. Maybe.
How do you say the archetype name?
Ogdoadic.
Ogdoadic.
The Ogdoadicted over. But long story short, I will not be surprised if this just turns into Reptile Link, just for the fact that it's just as splashable as Dragon Cores everywhere. With Snake Rain, with Water Lily, specifically saying reptiles and not Abyss or Ogdoadic monsters, this is going to probably be everywhere, because I know this guy is making Ogdoadic aliens.
Yeah, and Layer of Darkness.
I thought that was going to be his thing. Oh, long story short, leave a like and comment if you want Mr. Collector to make a burn deck version of Abyss, so you can call it Burning Abyss. And right now I'm kind of roasting Eric because he wants to make Orcust Abyss.
Ogdoadic.
Yes. So it looks like this is going to get passed around like dinosaurs that invoked in the channel. But for now, you're going to probably see it come from me first, and as more of a pure reptile build. So let's get started, shall we? First off, we got our 3 Nunus. Send to the grave. It basically works kind of like a chaos build, which is what I've seen a lot of people working with nowadays, doing chaos or invoked versions. So you send him, you send a dark reptile to the grave, and it's a free summon if you control no monsters or only Ogdoadic monsters. The opposite of Nunu, we have Naya. You send him, you discard him. He sends a light reptile from your deck to the grave. And if he's ever normal or special summoned, he grabs a Ogdoadic spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. So basically, kind of think of him as the reptile version of Chamber Dragon Maid. 3 Lamia, because it is a free summon and extension, especially with how the effect works. I'll show you a little tutorial or combo of an idea that I've had, depending on if you want to break a board or get searches or search whatever you get searches or draw cards, because I have Hydra and Vashki in here, so just watch out for that. 3 Kage Tokages, because you do work with a lot of level 4s like Naya, like Nunu, and I have a couple others in here like Flogos and Zoa. So, you just get your normal summon, special summon him out, and go straight into King of the Feral Lamps, get your searches, and get your plays going. 2 Overlord. I've seen a lot of people run him at 1, and then, he's kind of he's basically Zeus Light, because he sends everything to the grave as well. Well, he sends monsters to the grave, but still. And I've seen him get DD Crowed or Called by the Grave, and it's like, oh, there goes one of your win cons. So I like to opt to have 2, just to have the second copy, just in case, because, we have stuff like DD Crow, Mechaba, Call by the Grave, all that good stuff running around. So basically, it's like the same thing that I say for changeover. I like to have the extra copy just in case. One our own king basically sends stuff to the grave. He acts like Darklaw. If your opponent searches, he can randomly make your opponent send a card from his hand to the grave. And then my girl Amnesia, my little collector's rare here, basically extra removal because she'll send a card from the deck to the grave. So this deck doesn't really have trouble trying to get rid of stuff like Dragoons with a good hand because, you have so much stuff that can send stuff away. So it helps having the non-destruction removal. One Curse because she's basically one of your main combo pieces of the deck because she's basically what recurs your Naya over and over again to basically fill up your board, search your spells and traps, basically get your extensions and plays going, and get all that good stuff set up. One Aliert, because he will banish Nunu and Naya a lot. Nunu banishes himself when you special summon him. Then Curse banishes Naya, because, it's what got special summoned her, so it banishes out the field. So usually the main combo is you go Nunu, tribute Nunu for Curse, brings on Naya, you get the search. Both these guys end up getting banished, because now you tribute for Aliert, then bring him back to grave. So basically you're giving yourself a resource loop every turn to keep adding spells and traps to hand. And then Flogos and Zoa, because we like to have as many level forces as possible to go into Kage to get into our fellow limbs. One Reptilian Vashki, because we do have Reptilian Echidna in the extra deck. So the combo that I've figured out as of so far is basically Lamia with any other reptile, because she can special summon herself when you control another reptile. So you summon her, make a monster attack go to 0, link into Echidna, it makes another monster go to 0. You get 2 searchers because now there's 2 monsters with zero attack on the field. And then basically it's just a free Vashki because then you tribute those 2 monsters for her and basically have a free search of any other reptile from your deck. And then 1 Tsuchinoko because you can never go wrong with a Tsuchinoko. Everything likes to be engraved, free summon and tribute fodder for all your monsters. And then Evil Dragon Onada, because Evil Dragon Onada, you dump a lot of reptiles into the grave, so he can get pretty big if it's late game. Of course, 3 Snake Rain, because now we actually have a good deck that can use this spell. What everyone's been crying for years.
Took him how many years?
10.
At least.
Around 10,
And then it's like
years.
not even reptilians or any other reptile deck use this, so finally 3 Ogdoadic Water Lily basically kind of reminds me like a Dragon Maid Hospitality. Send a reptile to the grave, and then if it's 5 or more, bring it back. So it's basically a Monster Reborn and a Foolish Burial, which, hey, it's pretty good for deck thinning. 2 Origin, because it is nice to have whenever your opponent tries to get rid of your cards, because then your opponent has to get rid of as many cards from their deck to the graveyard equal to the amount of reptiles in your graveyard. 1 Terraforming, because, terraforming. Reasoning, because even if your opponent calls the level right, you're still sending stuff to grave, so you're still deck thinning. Or you're getting a free summon. Call by the Grave, because it's Call by the Grave. Monster Reborn, because graveyard deck. No one likes back row, so Harpy's Feather Duster. I see a lot of people sleeping on this trap card, especially for the fact that you can basically do the old scapegoat thing back in a couple formats ago. Basically just do it on your end phase, get yourself free tokens. And because Echidna and Shock Trooper, with their materials just being reptiles and these being reptile tokens, it's just a free summon into Echidna and Shock Trooper to either get summons from the graveyard with Shock Trooper or get a free search from Echidna because she'll make a monster go to 0. Then her ability activates to search. And then 2 Snake Deity, because it's basically the reptile version of Icarus Attack. Get all our pops going. The extra deck, 3 Echidna, because we can never go wrong with basically getting rid of a lot of problematic monsters by making their attack go to 0, basically making them waste their negate. or getting multiple free searches because of Lamia and her going off and making everything 0. 1 Alien Shock Trooper because his effect to discard a reptile and basically set that many counters onto the field really helps out a lot, especially when you're discarding one of your bigger Abyss / Ogdoadic, Doug Dimmadome monsters.
I need to slip that in there somewhere.
Well, when you're basically making the name so similar to his name, it's gonna come out. You either get the joke or you get the Dimma Dagger. Phoenix and Unicorn, because you can link climb with all your reptiles and the tokens. Then, like I said before, you have a lot of level 4s, plus with the Kage Tokages, it's a free Feral Imp, so that way you get your search. Dingirsu to help with the extra sends. 38 to help with the spell negates and attack the redeclaration. 2 Hydras, and I'm really kind of hoping how we read these effects go well. I tried, basically trying to simplify this with Eric and Scott when we were at work yesterday to see if this is actually how we think it works. But if you use Lamia, let me grab her for a second. If you use her as a synchro material, she can target up to 2 monsters your opponent controls and make them 0. So my idea is you basically synchro her off, chain 1 Hydra, chain 2 Lamia, make the monsters go to 0, then her effect would resolve, popping those monsters and basically giving you a draw 2. So I'm hoping that's what we basically agreed saying that's how we think it works. If not, just leave it in the comments. But for now, fun little tech and free draw for you guys if that's how it does work. Savage and Crystal Wing because, Lamia from 6 to 8, so might as well go with the 2 easiest things to go into. And then 1 access code because, we got 2s, we got 3s, we got, all kinds of stuff to basically make him a big beef stick and, swing for game. That's the profile. Hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Please check out our Discord, hit up our Patreon, and leave you any likes, comments, any concerns or questions they have for us. And stay safe out there, and go Snakes.